we proudly present Women Wrestling Wars. In this ongoing series, we delve into the enthralling world of WWE, dissecting the thrilling segments and matches from Raw, ECW, and SmackDown on a week-by-week basis. Our ultimate goal is to determine which brand consistently delivered the most riveting and entertaining content. Rankings and recap for the latest episode. Raw 5 points. Edge and John Morrison with Lita and Melina attack Ric Flair. A rare and powerful alliance between Lita and Melina, alongside their respective partners, providing a high-stakes and highly engaging segment. Backstage flirting between Trish Stratus and Carlito adds a light-hearted, romantic layer to the show, enhancing character development. WWE Women's Champion Mickie James defeats Candice. Michelle continues their feud with strong in-ring action and storyline continuity. Maria interviews John Cena. Cena's insults towards Stephanie McMahon and others heighten tensions.
The question everybody wants to know is who's the father? Who's the father? Who knows that? It's anybody's guess.
And Lita.
She is rated NC-17. No cold sores in 17 days.
Mariah's elimination from 2006 Diva search adds a competitive element.
She ain't no diva. She ain't no diva.
Tag team main event: John Cena and Ric Flair vs. Edge and John Morrison with Lita and Melina. This high-caliber matchup caps off the episode with star power and critical storyline implications. ECW 1 point. Knox explains why he let Kelly get hit with a kendo stick, provides depth to Knox's character, but is overshadowed by more dynamic segments on other shows. Knox with Kelly vs. Sandman, Test and Tommy Dreamer attacks. Starting the stable of Knox, Test and Kelly introduces a new faction, which could promise future intrigue but is still in its early stages. Thorn with Ariel vs. Little Guido marks Thorn's debut, which adds fresh talent to the roster but needs more time to develop impact. SmackDown 3 points. McCool with Kristal vs. Jillian Hall with Ashley Massaro. Solid in-ring action. Rey Mysterio crashes King Booker's and Queen Sharmel's championship coronation. This dramatic intervention adds excitement and sets the stage for further confrontation. 2006 Diva search musical chairs. A lighter, entertainment-focused segment that adds variety to the show. World Championship rematch. King Booker with Queen Sharmel vs. Rey Mysterio. An intense and well-executed title match, though it follows a somewhat predictable storyline trajectory. Current standings: Raw 35 points, SmackDown 14 points, ECW 13 points. Triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship on Raw. Carlito vs. Shelton. Benjamin vs. Johnny Nitro, with Melina at ringside. As Johnny Nitro entered the ring, Carlito blindsided Shelton Benjamin with an eye rake and quickly dispatched Nitro to the floor with a forceful shove off the apron. Carlito pursued Nitro outside, launching an assault. Meanwhile, Benjamin soared over the ropes, executing a breathtaking plancha that floored both adversaries. Upon the return to Raw, Benjamin had seized control, locking Nitro in a stifling chinlock. During the commercial break, it was revealed that Benjamin had landed a super kick on Carlito. Benjamin unleashed a series of punches on Nitro, though his attempt at a dropkick missed its mark. Nitro aimed for a standing shooting star press, but Benjamin dodged, leading into an attempt at a powerbomb. Nitro managed a sunset flip counter for a near fall, which was immediately followed by Carlito's own attempt at a sunset flip, also for a 2 count. Benjamin and Nitro momentarily joined forces to corner Carlito, flinging him across the ring, but when Benjamin's splash attempt failed, Carlito capitalized with a clothesline. A dynamic exchange followed, featuring Benjamin's monkey flip on Nitro and Carlito's barrage of lefts on Benjamin. Carlito's momentum surged with a running knee lift and a clothesline on Benjamin. He and Nitro exchanged blows until Carlito executed a swift Hurricane Rana. Benjamin, not to be outdone, delivered a tornado DDT to Carlito. However, as Benjamin attempted the pin, Melina intervened, subtly placing Carlito's foot on the ropes to break the count. An irate Benjamin confronted Melina, which allowed Nitro to take advantage. Seizing the moment, Nitro rolled up Carlito, cunningly gripping the tights, to secure a controversial victory. On Raw, the atmosphere was electric as Torrie Wilson took her place in the ring, assuming the role of special guest referee for the upcoming tag team match. The audience's anticipation reached a fever pitch as Trish Stratus and Candice Michelle made their spirited entrance, ready to square off against the formidable duo of Mickie James and Victoria. The match ignited with Candice Michelle and Victoria at the forefront, their initial lockup quickly escalating as Victoria resorted to pulling Candice's hair to gain the upper hand. Undeterred, Candice skillfully countered with a waist lock followed by a fireman's carry takeover. She continued to dominate the early exchange, focusing on Victoria's arm with relentless precision, employing another fireman's carry and a knee drop to weaken her opponent. However, Victoria seized an opening, breaking free and retaliating with a knee to Candice's face before dragging her to the corner to tag in Mickie James, who entered the fray with a double axe handle from the top rope. Mickie James maintained the pressure, but Candice's resilience shone through as she attempted to fight back. Mickie's aggression escalated, pulling Candice down by her hair and executing a slam for a near fall. An attempted cheap shot at Trish Stratus backfired, leading to a chaotic sequence where Victoria found herself inadvertently crotched on the top rope. This allowed Trish to tag in, unleashing a flurry of offense that included the Stratosphere on Victoria and an innovative double head scissors on both Mickie and Victoria. With Victoria momentarily neutralized outside the ring, Trish turned her focus to Mickie, delivering a series of chops. Mickie managed to counter with a reverse elbow and attempted her signature Mickie Kanrana, but Trish expertly countered into a powerbomb. A desperate eye rake from Mickie was followed by a knee strike, but interference from Torrie Wilson gave Trish the opening to execute a Stratusfaction. Victoria's last-ditch effort to intervene was thwarted by Candice's timely dropkick, ensuring her team's triumphant win in a match filled with high-octane action and dramatic reversals. Backstage at Raw, Mick Foley finds himself in the company of Johnny Nitro and Melina, the latter fresh off Nitro's title defense. Foley, with a mix of respect and camaraderie, offers his congratulations to Nitro for retaining his championship. Yet, his presence there isn't solely for pleasantries. Foley has a request. It's been a noticeable 6 weeks since Foley graced Raw with his presence, and he's eyeing a return to the spotlight. He turns to Melina, asking her to introduce him to the audience tonight, tapping into Melina's knack for captivating the crowd. As Foley and Melina exit, leaving Nitro behind, Nitro's parting words,
"Hey, keep it sexy,"
add a light touch to the moment. In an electric atmosphere on Monday Night Raw, Melina made a grand entrance, her presence immediately captivating the audience. Accompanying her,
The one and only hardcore legend, Mick Foley!
None other than Mick Foley. Foley, ever the master of ceremonies, wasted no time in addressing the gathered fans, acknowledging the specialness of the occasion. He teased the crowd with the promise of delivering exactly what they craved.
Mick Foley! Ric Flair! In this very ring!
Right there in New Jersey, Foley painted a picture of unity and shared goals, suggesting that despite their apparent differences, he and Flair shared more in common than one might assume, including a dedication to nurturing the next generation of wrestling talent. The comparison drew laughter and cheers as Foley juxtaposed his and Flair's notable friendships. Flair with the President of the United States, and Foley with adult film legend Christy Canyon. Foley didn't shy away from their controversial moments in the spotlight either, candidly discussing his own headline-making antics.
Melina, I've been on the cover of USA Today
Alongside Flair's publicized
for that embarrassing road rage incident.
The atmosphere shifted palpably as Ric Flair's iconic music filled the arena, signaling the arrival of the Nature Boy himself. The tension between the two legends was palpable, with Flair dismissing Foley's attempts at camaraderie
You keep your mouth shut.
and humor. Cutting to the heart of their rivalry, Flair's retort was scathing, dismissing Foley's contributions and legacy in comparison to the revered names of wrestling's golden era.
Because my book is a lifetime of greatness.
He challenged Foley's hardcore credentials,
Woo, yeah!
demanding a match that would push both competitors to their limits. The audience, fully invested, roared in approval as Flair laid down the gauntlet. Yet, as the verbal jousting took a deeply personal turn,
Those guys would walk over you on the way to the bathroom, and you wouldn't open your mouth for 1 second.
the exchange between Foley and Flair revealed the complex layers of their relationship and history within the industry. Foley's defense of Melina,
I want whatever you got, pack a stack.
framing her not as a conquest but as a person deserving of respect.
He's the kind of diva the Nature Boy would run around with, not you.
The tension reached a boiling point as Jonathan Coachman announced a match that seemed to promise a resolution to their feud at SummerSlam, as authorized by Mr. McMahon. However, Foley's refusal to accept the match as laid out, citing his contractual freedom and unwillingness to waste his remaining battles on what he viewed as a washed-up competitor, left the audience in a state of shocked anticipation. His departure from the ring, alongside Melina, left Flair seething. As the distinct sound of Matt Striker's theme filled the arena, the self-proclaimed teacher confidently made his way to the ring, ready to impart a lesson on linguistics and self-praise. Stryker, with a tone dripping in condescension, took a moment to ridicule his opponent for the night, highlighting his use of the term homies and dismissing it as non-standard English.
Homie's not a word.
In contrast, Stryker emphasized words like
Brilliant, aggressive, handsome.
to describe himself, educating the audience on adjectives that he felt aptly represented his persona. The arena erupted as John Cena's music hit, signaling the arrival of the Doctor of Thugonomics himself. Cena's presence instantly shifted the atmosphere, setting the stage for the confrontation. Before the action could commence, Edge, accompanied by Lita, positioned himself at the rated R announce table. The match kicked off with Stryker attempting a sneak attack, only to be swiftly countered by Cena, who dominated with an overhead throw followed by the throwback. Cena's intensity was palpable, his focus occasionally drifting to Edge. Cena continued his onslaught with a spinning powerbomb and executed the five-knuckle shuffle. Lita's commentary from ringside hinted at a strategy to humiliate Cena at the upcoming SummerSlam, but Cena remained unfazed, delivering the foo to Stryker with precision. Without missing a beat, Cena locked in the STFU, securing a decisive victory in a display of dominance and resilience. The aftermath of the match saw Cena and Edge locked in a stare-down, a silent but powerful exchange that promised an explosive confrontation at SummerSlam for the WWE title. The Miz took center stage accompanied by the contestants, setting the tone for a night of anticipation and nerves. The air was thick with expectation as The Miz prepared to announce the results of the third elimination. With his signature charisma, The Miz took a moment to clarify the stakes and the rules, emphasizing that despite any previous victories or standout performances, no one was safe from elimination. He pointed out that even though JT had won the musical chairs challenge, it didn't guarantee immunity. In a turn that caught many off guard, Rebecca's name was called.
What you say? She ain't no diva. She ain't no diva. She ain't no diva.
The surprise was evident not just on her face but throughout the room. Rebecca had been pegged as a strong contender, perhaps even a finalist, by fans and fellow contestants alike. In an Extreme Rules match on ECW, the gritty duo of the Sandman and Tommy Dreamer faced off against Mike, Knox, and Test, with Kelly in their corner. The atmosphere was electric as Sandman made a dramatic entrance from the top balcony, with a recap of his recent confrontations with Knox setting the stage. Dreamer followed, his entrance accompanied by a recap of his own issues with Test, igniting an ECW chant from the enthusiastic crowd. Knox, Test, and Kelly made their entrance amidst a chorus of jeers, including a "You Suck D" chant. The match quickly descended into chaos. Sandman and Test exchanged blows in the ring, while Dreamer and Knox brawled outside. Inside the ring, Sandman's dropkick to Test, and outside, Knox's ruthless move crotching Dreamer on the guardrail showcased the no-holds-barred nature of the match. The crowd's involvement intensified. Dreamer and Sandman, seizing an opportunity, retrieved an arsenal of weapons from under the ring, escalating the violence. The crowd's anticipation for devastation grew as Sandman and Dreamer introduced a barbed wire-covered board into the fray, setting it up in the ring amidst chants of ECW, and Test intervened with the Singapore cane. Turning the tide, Dreamer suffered a brutal cane shot, opening a wound. The match's brutality continued, with Dreamer and Sandman momentarily gaining the upper hand until Test's misjudgment led to a collision with the ring post. The action spilled outside the ring, where Kelly found herself in the midst of the chaos. Sandman, retrieving his cane, unleashed a barrage of strikes on Knox, driving him back up the aisle. Meanwhile, in the ring, Dreamer's interaction with Kelly took an unexpected turn, leading to a controversial moment. Paul Heyman's intervention with his helmeted security force marked a turning point. They launched a savage attack on Dreamer, choking and mocking him before throwing him into the barbed wire board. The crowd's "You Sold Out" chants directed at Heyman underscored the betrayal felt by ECW fans. Test returned to the ring to inflict further punishment on Dreamer and secure the pinfall victory after 9 minutes of relentless action underscored the ruthless nature of ECW. Backstage at ECW, the atmosphere was thick. Tension escalated as Heyman, trying to maintain control, told Sabu that last week's events were history and demanded he leave the building. He even threatened to have Sabu removed forcibly if he did not comply. In a scene set against the eerie glow of candlelight, Ariel delivered a haunting message
to lurk only in the shadows
that touched on themes of exclusion and rebellion. She spoke of how society shunned those who were different, pushing them into the shadows. Kevin Thorn had emerged from the darkness, now fully embracing his identity in the public eye. Kevin Thorn, standing alongside Ariel, exuded a sinister confidence. His declaration that the blood of ECW would be his served as a chilling prophecy. On SmackDown, The Miz introduced what appeared to be the start of a comedic series of promos featuring Diva search contestants. The segment kicked off with Jen, who attempted to distinguish herself with a display of what was intended to be Shakespearean wit, only to be abruptly interrupted by The Miz, who smeared her face with a pie. The promos continued with contestant Rosa, who claimed she brought an edgy vibe to the competition. She too was met with a pie to the face, reinforcing the pattern of lighthearted humiliation that seemed to define these segments. Layla was next, asserting her strength and independence with a promise of damage to her competitors, only to become the next victim of the pie gag. Her reaction, however, took a turn from the responses of her predecessors, as she provocatively embraced the messy situation. Erica, emphasizing her physical attributes with confidence, stuttered through her promo, was on the receiving end of a pie, showcasing her willingness to endure the antics for a chance at victory. Lastly, JT struggled to even begin her speech before being hit with a pie, her flustered reaction earning her the least favorable critique among the contestants. On SmackDown, in a showdown between Kristal Marshall and Ashley Massaro, both competitors made their way to the ring unaccompanied, setting the stage for a one-on-one confrontation. The match quickly escalated in intensity as Ashley took the early advantage, knocking Kristal down and employing a unique offense by using Kristal's suspenders to choke her. However, Kristal wasn't down for long, as she skillfully countered with an enziguri, showcasing her agility and ring awareness. The match continued with a fierce exchange between the two, as Kristal managed to step on Ashley's hair in a display of dominance, emphasizing the personal stakes in their rivalry. Ashley, refusing to be outdone, retaliated with a barrage of rights and lefts, followed by slamming Kristal's head into the top turnbuckle, demonstrating her resilience and determination. The competitors pressed on, each seeking to prove their superiority. In a cunning move, Kristal managed to take Ashley down and, in a controversial finish, used Ashley's tights to secure the pin and steal the victory. On SmackDown, McCool introduced her new proteges,
And two of my favorite teacher's pets.
Casey James and Idol Stevens, as her teacher's pets, setting the stage for a tag team match against Funaki and Scotty 2 Hottie. The match kicked off aggressively, with Stevens taking the initiative against Scotty, including a timely kick from James to Scotty's back. The action in the ring continued to escalate. Scotty attempted to rally, landing a solid right hand, but his momentum was quickly stifled by McCool's interference, allowing Stevens to execute a body slam onto James' knee, further tipping the scales in their favor. Meanwhile, the reigning tag team champions, Paul London and Brian Kendrick, observed the match from backstage. As the match progressed, James and Stevens continued to dominate with effective double teaming and isolation tactics. Idol Stevens delivered a calculated elbow drop for a near fall, maintaining pressure with a chinlock and targeted strikes to Scotty's neck. However, the tide began to turn when Scotty managed to tag in Funaki, who injected a burst of energy into the match, hitting a crossbody on Stevens and taking down James with a flurry of offense. Funaki's momentum was momentarily halted by James, but he managed to regain control, executing a bulldog. The match reached its climax when referee Charles Robinson was distracted, allowing James to land a high-impact dropkick from the top rope onto Funaki. Stevens capitalized on the opportunity, covering Funaki for the pinfall victory, securing a win for himself and Casey James. Backstage, Sharmell is seen providing a morale boost to King Booker as he mentally prepares for his upcoming match against The Undertaker. With a blend of confidence and loyalty, Sharmell reminds her husband of his regal status,
Time to show the world how great you are.
emphasizing that while The Undertaker may be a formidable opponent, he does not hold the title of King of the World. She assures King Booker that by the end of their match, The Undertaker himself will be compelled to acknowledge Booker's superiority, declaring,
All hail King Booker!
This moment highlights the dynamic between Sharmell and King Booker, showcasing her role not just as his consort, but as a key source of inspiration and encouragement. In a highly charged segment on SmackDown, Chavo Guerrero took center stage, immediately drawing the ire of the crowd with both his entrance and his presence in the ring. With the audience's boos echoing through the arena, Chavo launched into a passionate monologue about betrayal, directing his ire squarely at Rey Mysterio. He accused Rey of exploiting the legacy of Eddie Guerrero,
stealing his blood?
Chavo's beloved uncle, asserting that Rey had appropriated Eddie's memory for his own gain. Chavo painted Rey as a thief, alleging that he had stolen not just from the Guerrero family, but from the fans as well. He detailed how Rey had invoked Eddie's name time and again, dedicating numerous matches to him.
He used the Guerrero name, Eddie's name,
highlighting instances such as the Royal Rumble, No Way Out, and WrestleMania, and accused Rey of using Eddie's memory to bolster his own career and achievements, particularly in victories over notable opponents like JBL and Mark Henry. The situation reached a boiling point for Chavo at the Great American Bash, where he felt compelled to act, convinced that Rey had dishonored Eddie's memory, and taken the adulation that should have been directed towards the Guerrero legacy. Labeling Rey a leech on the Guerrero name, Chavo's words brought Rey out, and the two erupted into a physical altercation. The brawl spilled from from the canvas to the outside, with Rey tossing Chavo into the steel steps, escalating the intensity of their feud. At this critical juncture, Vickie Guerrero, Eddie's widow, intervened, physically placing herself between the two combatants in an effort to quell the violence. Amidst this emotionally charged confrontation, the crowd's chants of Eddie resonated throughout the arena, underscoring the deep connection and enduring legacy Eddie Guerrero has with the fans. King Booker, embodying the essence of royalty, made his entrance each step a testament to his self-assured dominance. His opponent, The Undertaker, a legend in his own right, countered with an entrance that was both familiar and awe-inspiring, the chilling toll of the bell sending waves of anticipation through the crowd. As the bell rang, King Booker's strategy became immediately apparent. His retreat from the ring at the onset was not an act of cowardice, but a calculated maneuver to disrupt The Undertaker's momentum. It was clear that the psychological warfare would be as critical as the physical. King Booker's thumb to the eye and tight headlock were early attempts to assert control, but The Undertaker's response, a display of his legendary resilience and strength, quickly shifted the balance. The match unfolded with a series of strategic moves and counter-moves. King Booker, ever the tactician, worked to maintain the upper hand, targeting The Undertaker with precision and brutality outside the ring. Yet, The Undertaker's power was on full display as he launched King Booker over his head with one arm, a moment that electrified the audience and underscored the supernatural strength at his command. The intensity within the ring never waned. Continued his assault, but The Undertaker's indomitable will and physical prowess saw him fighting back. As the match progressed, Queen Sharmel's presence at ringside became a pivotal factor, her distraction allowing King Booker a momentary advantage. However, The Undertaker's quick recovery and subsequent focus on King Booker's left shoulder showcased his strategic mind and physical dominance. His successful execution of the old-school rope walk and a flatliner brought the crowd to its feet, landing devastating blows. The dynamic between the two superstars was a compelling narrative of resilience, strategy, and sheer force, in executing his signature moves with precision. Each move a testament to his enduring skill and charisma. Yet, just as The Undertaker seemed poised for victory, the unexpected interference of the Great Khali turned the tide. The subsequent disqualification, while frustrating, set the stage for a confrontation that went beyond the bounds of a single match.